I'm live. That's what it's telling me. Hello, everyone. Let me just move my screen around so I can see things. All righty. Thank you for being here. My name is Kristen Brown. And what I do is help people reset their inner world so they can manifest and create a most abundant outer world. And one of the things that I practice myself and I talk about all the time, and I actually prescribe to my clients on the regular, is meditation. And being someone who has talked about meditation a lot for the past 12 years, I have come across many times people saying, I can't meditate. I can't meditate. It's too hard. I can't do it. So I wanted to get on a live today to talk to you all about meditation, what it is, what it does, the benefits of it, and how it is actually so easy. And it's easier than you think. It's just the story that you're telling yourself about meditation that is making it hard for you. So let's get started. Meditation is a practice, first and foremost. Let's get that in our head. It is a practice, just like anything else that you do in your life, whether you're trying to learn to play tennis, or you're starting to learn to cook, or you're learning a new language, or you're learning to retrain your brain. It is a practice. So, this is where we have to give ourselves grace along the way, compassion and grace for where it is that we are at in our journey, especially if you're someone who has functioned from a high level of stress throughout your life and you've been activated into your survival brain, or you just have things that are happening a lot. You tend to fall into the stress pattern really quite simply, then that could be that your brain is just trained to go that way. And meditation really is a brain training, but it's a very passive brain training. And it is something that doesn't require a lot of push. In fact, it's a very calm sort of practice. And when you learn to meditate, it is going to take time. It is an accumulative effect. And the more that you do it, the more that you are going to reap the benefits of it. Oh, my dear friend Joseph Mojo McCarthy is here. Hey, Joseph. And if you guys don't know, Joseph and I and our dear friend D. Grant Smith, we do a live called Joseph, what is the name again? Alchemist, Modern Day Alchemists. We do that every Friday. We normally do it at 2 p.m. Pacific, but this Friday it's going to be at 1 p.m. Pacific. And Joseph, if you want to type down below what the title is for our this week, I forgot because we've changed the topic several times. Type that down below. And also, I will be posting it in the community here so you all can jump in and join. These are two powerful men, two beautiful spirits that I love to create with. So if you're interested in that, check that out. Okay, so back to what we're talking about. Meditation has numerous mental, emotional, and physical benefits. There's so many benefits that come from this. And this is something that I did not really even realize when I started to meditate. I started to meditate purely out of need. I was in the most stressful and scary space in my life. I had lost a bunch of weight. I couldn't eat. Most of you know this as my tsunami. If you don't know what that is yet, I won't take the time, but it was just a horrific period of time in my life where everything that had made me feel safe felt like it was just washed away, like in one big, huge tidal wave. And I was just this naked little person, just not knowing which way to go or what to do. And I had 3 children that were relying on me. And it was extremely scary space for me. And I remembered God, actually, to be honest. I'm like, wow, there's this higher power that can help me. And I'd always believed in a higher power. I always knew there was this energy and this essence. I had felt it since I was a little girl. And I said, okay, how can I get calm enough that I can hear this? And I remembered my days of doing Kundalini yoga. And Kundalini yoga is a lot of focused breath work, is really all it is. It's very, very small poses because you hear yoga and you think of downward dog and sun salutations and all these things. It's not like that. It's very, very small poses that you get in and you focus on breath work. And I would always leave my Kundalini class just feeling like I had the best massage and I'd been laying on the beach and it was perfect weather and no stress and no anything going on in my life. It was like this floating thing. I was like, wow, what is this? Like, what is this? Fast forward many years into my tsunami, I remembered those days and I said, okay, I need to start meditating first and foremost. And I would quite literally lay on my back on the floor in my bedroom with a pillow behind my head, and I would do breathing exercise sometimes for 2 hours. I mean, it as long as it took for me to stop my heart from pounding in my chest and palpitating and doing all these things, and so I could get calm, and I would not get up until I was in a space that I actually felt like a decrease in my nervous system. So with that being said, it worked and it helped, and everything started to fall into place really beautifully and magically in my life because I'd gotten out of my thinking brain and I had created space in my life for source to speak to me, to guide me. And because my brain was so much more quiet, even though I was still handling all the stressors that was coming during my tsunami, my brain was so much more quiet that I was actually in more connection with my guidance. And I could hear little nudges and pushes and messages to make certain decisions and to go a certain direction. And everything just kind of fell into place for me. But not only that, I maintained this meditation practice. It wasn't just through that, I maintained it through my life because it was something that I couldn't believe the benefits of it. Like I said, I did it out of necessity, but it ended up being one of the best things that I ever did for myself. And that, quite frankly, if I don't do on the regular, I can feel it because I got a little thinking brain here and I got a little ego and I got all those things that creep up inside of me that will take me down that path again if I don't course correct, get back in. It's kind of like drinking a lot of water, right? You notice that what happens when you don't drink water. For me, I'll get a headache. I'll get a headache almost immediately. I live in Arizona. It's fairly dry here most of the year. I get a headache. Sometimes people get grouchy when they need water. Sometimes we think it's hunger when it's actually thirst that we're experiencing. So, as you guys know, I always have a beverage with me at all times. Right now, I changed. No longer a mocha. This is a passion tea, and I'm not affiliated with Starbucks, although I should be. I'm looking forward to a brand deal, but it's a lot of liquid, and I'm always carrying around a big bottle of water with me everywhere I go because that is something that I have to practice, and I chug, and I chug, and I chug because I know that it is paramount to my mind, body, spirit homeostasis, and so I've come up with things along the way in my path that tell me these are the things that you need to do, Kristen, so I can keep myself at kind of a baseline level. I'm very human. I have a family. I have a loud family. We have problems. We have things. Stuff comes up, moods. All the things that we experience in life comes up in my life too, y'all. But I'm able to get into this practice. In fact, I was going to save this story until a little later, but I remember during my tsunami when I had moved out of the house that I was in and my kids and I had moved in with my mother and my stepfather, and again, I was practicing this meditation all the time. And at one point, my mother said to my sister-in-law, and this is still going through court, this is still really fighting the reality that I had lost my home, that I did not have a means of income at this time, that I was forced, even though it was a beautiful, gift and blessing, but I felt forced to move back in with my mother at 42 years old. I mean, I had a lot of thoughts swirling around. I had been betrayed and cheated on and left and da la la, all the things. There's a lot happening up in this noggin. And I was stressed out a lot. But I started to meditate regularly all the time, like every day. And I did all types of meditation, which I'm going to get into with you all. But what happened, I remember one day my mom said to me that my mother said to my sister in law, she said, "I don't know how Kristen is so calm." And my sister-in-law said to her, "That's because she meditates every day." So we can meditate even when life appears at its absolute worst and horrific, and we don't know where to turn. Sometimes it is the best start to our spiritual healing practice is to stop and just say, I need to meditate. And that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to hit the floor on a meditation pillow with, the Om hands and, doing it in a certain way. And that's what I want to talk to you all about is that this culture, our culture, the Western culture, has kind of skewed what meditation is. And I heard this one time. I couldn't tell you who from, and forgive me for that. I never really remember who tells me what. And I say who, meaning I know the person. I don't know this person. But it was some type of Eastern person, maybe a monk of some type, said the Western culture has meditation all wrong. And I listened, I was like, "Yeah, that's so incredibly true," because my practices were substantiating, or my experience was substantiating what this gentleman was saying, and I was like, "Yep, that's exactly right." So this is why I wanna jump on here right now, and quite frankly, Mojo, if you're still in here, the reason why I was inspired and motivated to make this live today is because on our Friday talk last week with the Modern Day Alchemists, we were taught it moved into meditation. And I started talking about meditation, and somebody posted in the chat, "Wow, what a great descriptor of it." And I thought, a lot of times we think people know, and I thought, this is a really good topic because people don't know. And then when I really started to go back into the history in my brain, I was like, gosh, how many times have I talked to people, clients or anybody else about meditation, and they kind of they kind of poo-pooed me off or fluffed me off or said, I can't do that. Or, I'm not, nah. And they went and go picked up their bottle of wine or their beer or whatever it was that they were doing to distract themselves rather than doing what's really going to work, because we're going to feel these feelings in life. That's what we are. We're feeling individuals. We have thinking brains. We have fears. We have problems. We have things that come up. And those things that happen in our life create emotions inside of us. And sometimes we don't like those emotions because they don't feel good. They're not the feel good emotions. You'll never hear me call an emotion a negative. Never, never, never. Emotions are either dense and heavy and we don't like the way they feel, or they're light and airy and we do like the way they feel. But no emotion is ever wrong, because really an emotion is only an indicator of what it is that you are thinking. That's all it is, okay? Because we have a thought, and that thought will release a chemical in our brain, and that chemical is called an emotion. So we're feeling this particular chemical in our body, and we're like, "Ooh, I don't like the way this feels. Let me try to get rid of this." And a lot of times people will go over to something that is some type of distraction, or what I call a Band-Aid. And this is where the isms come in, like the alcoholisms or the shopaholisms, or I should say the olics. Whatever it might be for people, and sometimes it's things like sex, sometimes it's things like over shopping, or it could be things like over exercising, believe it or not. Like, people will do anything that they could do to get themselves out of these feelings. Some of these things are not as detrimental as others, and some of these things don't affect other people in our life, but substance abuse and those type of things do affect the people around us in our life. And really, if people are honest with themselves, they're just distracting from feelings. That's all that's happening. So what if I told you that you don't have to distract through unhealthy means, like, raking up a bunch of credit cards because you like that dopamine hit of shopping and getting that new thing? I've heard of people that are such shopaholics that you go into their closet and they have all these racks of clothes that still have tags on them, because it was just the dopamine hit that they got from purchasing the item. People do this on Amazon as well with all types of items. I digress. So let me keep moving forward. I'm going to first read my messages over here. Um, This week is leadership happens. Awesome. Meditate, not medicate. Love that. Hydration keeps everything flowing. Yes, and Mojo's still here. Okay, and I see there's other people in this room as well. So if you guys want to pop in down there and say hello and let me know who's here, because I love chitty chatting with y'all. That's the reason why I get on these lives, is because I'm all about building community, because we're on this journey together. And how cool to link arms with people and to say, yeah, let's do this together, right? And we just have this community where we understand that we're all not perfect, and none of us are. We're never going to be. That's the whole point here, because if we were perfect, we would not be learning. This would not be a spiritual journey. But we all get to come together and learn together. All right, so let's get started. I'm here to, oh, hello. Hey, joining from India. Right on. Love that. I'm going to try to pronounce your name. Oh, and Lindsay's here. Hi, Lindsay. See you tomorrow, dear friend. Nidish J- Jaswal. I probably messed that up. Please forgive me. And Lindsay Hoyland. Hi, everybody. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. So, and please comment or ask questions, anything you want. This is a topic I'm very well versed in. It's a topic that I very much enjoy. And it's something that is just near and dear to my heart. And I share things that are near and dear to my heart to people because I want you guys to heal too. This is the self-healing journey. This is what this is all about here. We're learning, we're here to grow and to expand into the absolute best version of ourselves. Okay. So a lot of times people think that meditation is sitting on a meditation pillow with our hands like this, and it can be. I'm not discounting this at all. And we have to sit there and we have to empty our mind. Okay, empty our mind. Have you ever really tried to empty your mind? It's almost impossible because the mind continually thinks, which has reminded me, and I got to say this before I forget it, a meditation practice that I call observation. We can be in an observation mode. So there's different types of meditations, but I talk about that in my first book, From Doormat to Sweet Empowerment. I talk about the different types of meditation. I'll say that again, From Doormat to Sweet Empowerment. If that's something you're interested in, that is on Amazon. And sometimes I just get into a meditation mode where I get my brain really quiet and I just am the observer of the thoughts. Okay. They're just moving by, but I'm not attaching to any one. I'm just letting them float through in a stream of consciousness. The way I explain it in From Doormat to Sweet Empowerment is it's like sitting passenger in a car, in a vehicle of some type or train, whatever, and just watching the scenery go by. You're not attaching to the house or the cow or the big tree or whatever it might be. You're just watching it and you're just in this state of observance. That's something that many people think they got to clear everything completely. No, that is untrue. Now, if you're able to do that, Eckhart Tolle says he's able to do that for like, I think he said 4 minutes straight. Don't quote me, but Eckhart Tolle said he could do it. Okay, he's at that point in his meditation practice, right? But again, this is a practice. All right. So, it's not about emptying the mind. What it is truly about is intentional focus. That's really what meditation is about. It's about us deciding to intentionally focus on something. And this could be just laying. I've done this in my backyard when it's cool outside. Right now, it's like 185 blazing here in Arizona. But when it's cool outside, I will go into the backyard. I will lay in my grass and I will just listen. I will listen to birds. I will listen to airplanes. I will listen to wind. I will listen to wind chimes. I will listen to cars. I will say, what is my ear senses picking up? And I will just listen. Another thing you can do is just smell. What am I smelling? What am I hearing? What am I tasting? How does my body feel right now? These are all meditative practices. There's the sky's the limit, but hopefully as I go down through the my notes of what I want to talk about today, you guys will pick up things in your own what works for you. What goes, that kind of sounds good to me. And that's something I talk about repeatedly on this channel is I'm not your guru. I'm here just delivering information as a teacher, as a mentor to you. The most important thing you can ever do is return back to you, to being your own authority. That's what the journey is. We have fractured out here into the world, trying to get all this love, approval, and acceptance from everything out here. But the journey is actually returning back to the self. It's returning back to that center within, the soul, the unconditional love that you actually are, that we all are here because we are all divine sparks of God. That is who we are. So let me move forward. It's about intentional focus and awareness. All right. Let me share with you a couple of my meditation practices. One of my meditation practices is that I will listen to binaural beats. And I have found one that I absolutely love. Like for some reason, this does it for me. That doesn't mean that you have to use the same one. It's about going through things, it's trying things on, just like we try on new clothes, just like we try on new people that we meet. It's like trying on a new sport. It's whatever. We're just trying it on. So I will try on different binaural beats. Those are the Hertz meditations. All they are is certain sound waves. Okay. And I will listen to these and I will just listen to the music. By the way, I do the majority of my meditations when I'm doing like the serious ones that are going to be long with earbuds in because that really compacts the sound. And I have the type of earbuds that will squash out the outside noise a little bit. And I do a lot of it in here in this room, and I will shut my curtains. I will dim my light really low, and I get myself into position. I take out hair ties. I loosen restricting garments. I'll make sure that I feel warm for some reason because my body temperature will come down, so I have a little blanket nearby, and I will drape that over a really light blanket, and I will drape if it's in the colder months, I'll put a heavier one on because I want to be in the most comfortable state that I can be in, but you don't have to be, by the way. This is what I'm talking about here with meditations. There's so many ways you can do this. So I get into the most comfortable place that I could possibly be in, and I will just listen to those binaural beats. And what I have noticed that now, because I practice this and the accumulative effect that happens, is that I can get into that state fairly quickly. If I'm not in a heightened nervous system type, survival mode state, I can get into that la la loopsy land, is what I call it, quite easily. And what I believe that is that we are moving out of form and we are moving into that space of divinity. And in that space, I've had some of the most mystical and magical experiences. And if I have time, I will share those later. But some of those experiences have just literally changed my life. And one of them happened, drum roll please, in a walking meditation where I actually moved into a different state. I crossed the veil while I was in a walking meditation and got a message that absolutely changed the course of my life because I was headed down this trajectory of obsessing over something. And I came out of that. I got the message. I started to apply it. And it was like, boom, I changed trajectories almost immediately. It was absolutely fascinating. Okay. Let me just give you another couple of examples. Another thing we can do is just, again, focused intention. I remember one time I had arrived to my mom's house where me and the children were living, and I was just stressed out. I was just this, that feeling on the inside. If you've ever had anxiety, say yes. Gotcha, Kristen. Know exactly what you're talking about in comments here. But I was so anxious and I was just like, ugh. And I was getting out of my car and I was mad. I was like, God, I can't shake this feeling. This is terrible. I hate the way this feels. And I said, what do you know? Get focused, Kristen. Get present. Present, which means right now. Get back into your body, your future tripping. You're out here in the world. Get back into now. Presence, the power of now. Eckhart Tolle book. I never read it, but I understand it. The power of now. And as I was walking, I got out of my mom van, had my purse on, carrying all my stuff. And she had a gravel driveway, a little circular gravel driveway. And as I was walking towards the house, all I said to myself was, what are you hearing? That's all I said. And I heard the gravel driveway crunching under my feet. Crunch, 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 as I was walking to the house. I kid you not. By the time I got to the front door, my heart had stopped pounding. 60 seconds of intention focus. It wasn't more than that. Okay. 60 seconds of intention focused, and my heart stopped pounding because I got myself into the present. This makes me want to cry. My eyes are tearing up saying this to you. I always cry on these lives, you guys. My eyes are tearing up saying this to you because that's how freaking powerful it is. It's not as hard as we make it out to be. The problem is that the brain is so used. We've been wired. Your brain has been wired to solve problems, to future trip, to worry about the future, all these things that we go, oh no, I can't, I can't break away from that. And I encourage you, I implore you, I invite you to just try it. Just try it. 60 seconds of intention focus. Another thing that I do is if I'm super stressed out, let's say I'm doing the dishes. I will sit there doing the dishes and I will say to myself, feel the water on your hands. What's the temperature of the water? I will hyper focus on that piece of cheese that's stuck on the plate. Look at this piece of cheese. It's really stuck on this plate. This is actually a pretty plate. The rest of the plate is clean. You see what I'm saying? But this cheese doesn't want to come off. Maybe I'll soak it some more. What I'm doing is I'm so focused on the present moment that none of this other stuff can come in because the present moment is our present. It's here now. It's only ever going to be here right now. And we are going to miss our life when we're ruminating on the past, which leads to depression, or we're tripping out on the future, which leads to anxiety. It has been rare in my life. I have been future tripping more than I've been depressed, but I have done both, and I've had them both at the same time as well. And I did not get on medication. Not that I'm saying that you don't. This is, again, you're your own guru, be your own authority, do whatever you need to do for you. But I did not get on meditation, even though I had gone down to 106 pounds. I'm a little person, so I'm 5'2", so it's not as thin as you might think. And I was I couldn't even eat. All right. I couldn't eat. My mouth tasted like everything I put in my mouth tasted like cardboard. But I kept going and I kept on this practice. Another thing that I've done is when I started back in a salon, you all knew I did hair, moved into my mom's house, started a salon in there, built back my clientele. But then I got to the place where I needed to build back with people I didn't know, and I didn't want to bring them to the salon or to the house. So I went back into the salon that I had retired from, but I was still in the midst of my tsunami, in the midst of all this stuff happening. And I was driving to work one day, and instead of taking the main roads that get you there pretty fast, I took the neighborhood roads. And I said to myself, and this is about being your own advocate. This is about being your own best friend. This is about being the best caregiver that you have ever had. Okay. I'm a mommy. So I paid attention to my babies. What do they need? What does this child need right now? Why is this child crying? What does this cry mean? Is this a dirty diaper? Is this hungry? Is this scared? Is this cold? What is this? And I learned what they needed. This is what self-love looks like. We learn what we need by asking ourselves, what do I need right now? How do I feel? I feel stressed out and anxious. By the time I get to work, I'm going to be a hot mess. So I drove the back ways to work. And this is what I did because I'm driving. What are you going to do? I said, I'm going to look at every gorgeous tree on the way to work. This is meditation. I focused on every beautiful tree. I was like, oh, I love trees, you guys. I still do this. To this day, I'll go to my husband. Oh, do you see that tree? Oh my God, look at that tree. I want that tree in my next house, these type of things. But I picked every gorgeous tree on the way to work. And I was like, oh, that one. Oh, this one's even more beautiful. Oh, but it can be more beautiful than the last because trees are just beautiful. Tree, 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 tree. Remember, stressed out, anxious mess. My life was a shambles. And I was pointing out every gorgeous tree. By the time I got to work, the drive was 12 to 15 minutes. Couldn't tell you exactly. Anxiety gone. Anxiety gone. And I prepared myself to walk in and to be the love for my clients, even in the midst of this hell, perceived hell that I was experiencing. Another thing that I did, this is, going to be weird, but, use your own discretion if you decide to do this, is that I work out regularly, always have. And I was at the gym and I was like, I'm feeling it. The whole thing. Again, this kept creeping up and creeping up and creeping up during this time. I held on to the railings of the treadmill and I closed my eyes. And all I did was focused on my feet. That's all I did. Meditation. I've also meditationed in reception areas of like doctor's offices or things like that. I sat there, I closed my eyes, and I said, focus on your breathing. And I just breathed. And it wasn't because I was stressed out being at a doctor's office for me or for somebody else. It was that it was an opportunity to sit. Focus on your breathing. Focus on your breathing. When I went to court with my tsunami ex, who is a person with narcissistic tendencies and substance abuse and cheating, infidelity, when I went to court against him, and he was someone who was not going to go down lightly, he was not going to separate calmly. He wanted everything, even though I was jobless and basically homeless, although I had moved in with my parents. And I remember going to court. I'd never been to court before, didn't know what to do. I didn't know what this was about. And they're talking about getting on the stand. I'm like, isn't that for bad people? I mean, I was like, what's getting on the stand? But I remember sitting outside that courtroom and I had my head against the wall and I closed my eyes And my lawyer said to me, "Kristen, are you okay?" And I remember I just peeked one eye open at him and I looked at him and I said, "Yeah, I'm just meditating." And I closed my eyes and I laid back. And I had gotten myself into such a space of neutrality that when I got on the stand and was hammered by his attorney, like I had done some heinous crime, I remember just calmly, and it wasn't faked, just answering. Remember, my life was at stake. Okay. He didn't want to pay the things that he needed to pay. And I just sat there. I was like, it will be what it will be. I let go, let God. And I just answered the questions. And he was a piranha on me. And I had to go back the next day and finish up on the stand. And for some reason, he wasn't like that the next day. He was calm and he talked to me the way I'm talking to you because I think he tried to rattle me. I think the way my ex had portrayed me to him was that I was some a-hole. But when he saw my essence and who I am and felt my energy, I think homie was like, wait a minute, something not right here. But anyway, let me keep moving forward. Um, So I want you to understand it's all about focused intention. It's all about breathing. Oh my gosh, breathing. Dr. Joe Dispenza, who I love, he's one of my favorite mentors out there right now because he actually does all the brain science and researching and electrodes on people's heads and all the things that he does that substantiates everything that I'm talking about. Okay? And he said that deep breathing, get this, combines the head with the heart. That's the heart brain coherence. Okay. And why do we need coherence between the heart and the brain? Because when we are calm in the heart center, right, that's when our creative channels open and we receive information. That is our creative ability. We cannot receive information that is going to move us forward through life in the best possible next steps or give us an answer to something that we don't have yet when we're in a state of this. It can't happen. It can't happen. And he tells it like this because when we are in a state of survival, which is the fight, flight, or freeze, and it doesn't even mean we're doing that. It doesn't mean we're doing this right now. It could be just we're in a stage of feeling like we have to fight, or we're just frozen in life. Okay. Or we're just running constantly and distracting from things, like I was talking about earlier in this broadcast. Right. When we're in that state, our body is primed to fight. Our body is primed to save itself. So all our blood goes out to our appendages in order to prepare itself. It moves away from the heart, it moves away from the brain, and it goes out to prepare ourselves for whatever it is, this perceived threat that we think we have. So when we get really calm, and we focus on our breathing, then we open up these energy centers in our body, in our brain, in our heart, and we allow information to come in. And it's information that's going to serve us. Because many times we think if we think ourselves to death, the whole overthinking culture, if we think ourselves to death, if we're going to, we could figure this out. Brothers and sisters, if you had the information already in your brain, you would have figured it out by now. But the thing is that we are thinking some 60,000 thoughts a day, and 90 to 95% of those thoughts are on repeat, which means we're thinking from the same level of thinking because it's whatever we have learned thus far. And if we're in that fight, flight, freeze, survival mode, we're just replaying all this information we have, trying to find an answer. But when we get calm, sometimes we'll access something inside of ourselves that we knew that's back in the memory somewhere. We might pull that forward, or we are going to receive divine wisdom. Magic. It's not magic. It's actually what we're made up of, but it's magical. It's mystical and it's beautiful. So I'm going to pause right there because I got a lot of chats going on over here and I want to see what everybody's saying. Joining from India. Hey, Kristen. Big fan of the eco meditation. Last week, I expressed my feelings for a girl. She is my classmate. She didn't say yes to my proposal nor accepted my proposal, but she said she is not interested in relationships. I am confused. Oh, sorry, sweetheart. This conversation today is not about that, but definitely jump on or actually go to my videos, see a video that relates to this and comment there, and I will comment to you there. Okay, guided eco meditations can be found at the link I posted. Meditation regulates your nervous system, helps induce healing from trauma. Yep. Brother Andrew, a monk, said that washing dishes was the best meditation of his entire life when he felt the closest connection. That's so beautiful. According to let me see, Dalai Lama, sleep is the best form of meditation. I've heard that as well. Um, Meditation and mindfulness awareness are linked. Focus on breathing. Your story is powerful. Thank you for being so open and vulnerable about your past to communicate this value. Yes. Eco, that was my friend D. Grant Smith. Uh, oh, yeah. Tapping, EFT. Yep. Tony Robbins' priming system is excellent as well. Okay. Awesome. These are all really, really powerful comments, and these will stay on the replay when I post this. So anybody can read through these again and get all the links or whatever it is that you need here because they are there. All right. So, yes, sleep is the best meditation. Another thing that I am really, really passionate about is my sleep. Hold on, you guys, I'm getting thirsty. I'm really super passionate about my sleep. Yeah, in fact, I was going to say other words about it too, but that is the thing. Sleep, 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 sleep. But so many times people are functioning from this. It's like a portion of who you are when your brain is not rested. We can't. So going to sleep actually can help reset our brainwave state. And it does. It actually does. So when clients that I'm working with don't have good sleep patterns, it's one of the first things that I help them work on. I'm like, you need to rest your brain. Not only that, what we think about prior to going to sleep is what we're going to marinate on for the next 6, 8, 10 hours that we're asleep. Our subconscious is going to marinate on that. Okay, so we're going to draw that more into our awareness because that's what we're worried about. So have you ever gone to sleep worrying about something and upon wakening, doink, it's the first thing that you're thinking about? Of course it is. It's in the forefront of your thinking. I have a practice before bed. I have several practices before bed. How long have I been on? Good, I have time. I have several practices that I do. And when I say before bed, I mean before sleep. So when I get into bed at night, one of the first things I do is I go down a gratitude list. And it always starts for me, doesn't mean this for you. It always starts with, I'm so grateful for my bed. And if you really think about this, and this is why my gratitude list is so powerful. If you really think about this, my bed, how lucky am I? How blessed am I to have a bed? Because many people are sleeping on the floor or they're sleeping in a roach infested place or whatever it might be in environments that are not healthy. Or maybe they have to share a bed with 7 siblings. That's something. I'm so grateful for my bed. I'm grateful that I have this safe space to go to sleep, that I don't have to worry about intruders or bad people coming in on me. So that's something I'm very grateful for. It's the first thing. I'm grateful for this bed. I'm grateful for rest. And then I will go down my gratitude list and it always changes. Again, this is a form of meditation. My gratitude list always changes and it'll the first thing that pops into my mind. I'm grateful for running water. I'm grateful for my hands. I'm grateful for my toes. I'm grateful that I stood for 30 years doing hair and I have 0 feet problems. I'm grateful for my children, the love, the da, 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 da. It goes on and on and on. I just get into a state of gratitude because gratitude, y'all, is the highest energetic frequency that we can be in, period. Gratitude is the highest energy that we can possibly be in. And when we can practice that at night, it's going to be very much easier to cultivate that during the day. So I highly recommend that people go into that type of thing. Another thing that I do, and this is a new one, is that I said, God, please clear all people and things from my heart, meaning things that might have upset me today. clear, because if I don't have anything like that, I even say it when I've had an amazing day. Clear all negativity, clear all dense emotions, clear all um, places that I need to forgive people. Clear, 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 clear. Like D. Grant Mojo and all of us talk about all the time, the Ho'oponopono. If you don't know about that, Mojo, will you write that down there in the thing? Or D. Grant, one of you guys, write down the words so people can look that up. But Ho'oponopono is a cleaning and clearing. It's a type of meditation, believe it or not, because we have a focused intention. We're focusing our intention on something. So when I say in the description of this video that you're probably already meditating and don't know it. Have you ever been in the shower and you're shaving your legs? Gentlemen, you probably have not done this. Maybe. But if maybe you're a swimmer, but when I shave my legs, I'm very focused because I've cut my legs before. Very focused around my ankles. I'm very focused over my kneecaps. And many times I use my shower as a form of meditation. Let's say I got up too late or something and I get in the shower. I'm like, okay, didn't have my meditation practice today. I get in the shower and I feel the water on me. I feel the temperature of the water. I'm very focused on shampooing my hair. My hair is fine and blonde and color treated, so it gets into a big knot. So me picking it out is interesting. But I'll put on my conditioner, I'll pick out my hair in the shower, and I'll be thinking about the knots and being careful to get the knots out. I have a scrubby that I scrub my body with, and I feel it. I feel like it's exfoliating the dead skin off my body. I'll rinse, I'm really into my shower. Not all the time, but I use this as a form of meditation when I do. And I get really focused on it because I can future trip. I can get into I call it panting mode. When we're just in a hurry to get to life, we're in a hurry to get there. We're in a hurry to get the career, the money, the health, the partner, the thing, the this, the that, the other thing, that we are actually missing, like I expressed earlier, the present moment. And in that present moment is when we can heal these things, which is going to take me to another meditation practice, which is my Dr. Joe Dispenza meditations. He does these meditations in a way to get you out of let me think how he says it. No one, no body, no where, no thing, and no time. Okay. So what he does in his guided meditations which is another thing I do, is that he helps us move out of this realm and into a different realm where we are just consciousness, where we are in this space of connecting with our divinity. And I've had the most insane, in a great way, experiences when I have done a couple of his meditations. And here's something else he says. If you have a mystical experience in one of your meditations, don't think that you can recreate the same exact experience. And how did he word this? He said, because there is no timeline and there is no form in the quantum field. Okay. In that space. So if you think you're going to do these things and create the same thing, you cannot create that in the quantum field because the quantum field is not made up of that. So I've had these most amazing experiences, and I'll know because I'm in that space, and I will start to feel the unconditional love of source, of God, of universe. And I will feel this overpowering love that actually makes me cry. My eyes will well up with tears, and tears will roll down. Actually, I'm laying down, so usually they're rolling down like this, and they will roll down my face. And I just stay there and stay there and stay there. Something else he says is sometimes when we get into these spaces that they'll freak us out because we're so used to being in control. We're so used to moving all the chess pieces on the boards of our life, trying to, get there, that in control, because that's what the ego does. The ego wants to control us. So we're so used to that when we finally let go and we allow, it's really our essence, to be in oneness with the essence and out of form, it can freak us out because the brain's not used to it. And the ego might start screaming at you like, what are you doing? This is crazy. And you'll pop out of it. Never fear, never fret, because it is a practice. like I said in the beginning, this is all about practicing. And a massive point that I want to make is that giving yourself grace on this journey. There's been times when I've tried to meditate, ain't happening, wasn't easy. It was either I was in a hurry, I had limited amount of time, I thought I had to control. I had, no, I need to think about this, or I was in some type of fear state, really high state, and I just could not get in it very deeply or very long. Each time I find myself returning back to the problem or the thinking, I say, no, no, no. Remember, treat yourself as if you were a small child. And that child's headed toward the street. You go, no, no, no. And you move that child back and you guide them in the right direction. So when my brain would go whoop over here, I'd say, come on, we're not doing that right now. This is a great story. When I was still at the old house before I moved in with my parents, and I was in this, the stress. I just can't express it enough. The state that I was in. And I must have read somewhere because I started having a practice. Because I would go to bed at night and just think, oh my God, my life is crashing around me. How am I ever going to get out of this? This is never going to get any better, blah, 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 blah. And I remember reading this somewhere or hearing it somewhere, and I started to practice it. And what I started to do is I told my brain, I said, this problem is still going to be here in the morning. It's not for now. Now is sleep. And I would tell the problem, I will return back to you, but it's not for now. And I would start to fall asleep. And if it came back in, I would say the same thing again. And if it came back in, I would say the same thing again. And I got so good at this that I would lay down in the midst of my tsunami and fall right to sleep and stay asleep. Okay? Because this is all about practice and focus. What do I need to do for me right now? And I knew that I could not be the best leader that I needed to be for those children if I was walking around like this every day. All right. All right. So I want to share with you. Well, first, let me read some notes over here. Let's see what you guys got. D. Grant, I like how you described receiving divine wisdom. Brennan Burchard refers to MEDSRX framework for wellness, meditation, exercise, diet, sleep, relationships, supplements as needed. Gratitude. No amount of regret changes the past. No amount of anxiety changes the future. Any amount of gratitude changes the present. Absolutely. The ancient Hawaiian practice of Ho'oponopono. Yes, there's that. Recharge. Simple. Back to meditation. Inhale, grace. Exhale, gratitude. Love it. What a great perspective on dealing with problems. Thank you, D. Grant. There's another meditation you can do. I inhale life, I inhale love, and I exhale negativity and toxic energy. Inhale love and light and exhale. Okay. This is a meditation practice. Another one that I do laying in bed at night, because again, I have my little ritual, is that I imagine, I call it AAGG. Okay, wait a minute. Angels, ancestors, guides, and guardians. And who even knows if they're a thing, because it's just consciousness and God. But anyway, I say, calling all angels, ancestors, guides, and guardians, AAGG. Surround yourself around me. Infuse me with healing light to clear and reset all the cells and systems of my body to be in optimal functioning. Release all negativity and toxicity. And I imagine them standing above me in this light coming through me. Now it's coming all through me, right? And it's gold. And it just, everything that it passes, becomes gold and shiny. And I imagine this coming down through me, and I will not take my focus off of it. And for some reason, I do it slow. But here's what's interesting. You don't need to do it slow. If your attention isn't focused, there is no time in the quantum field. Okay. You can do it fast if you want, but I do it slow because I take it as a meditation. It goes all the way down through my feet. Then I imagine all of those things, okay, go into the earth. And what is fertilizer? It's all the caca. It's all the poopy. It's all the yucky. It's all the stuff that we don't need. Think about composting. It's all the stuff you don't need. You put it together and I think it ferments and then you go spread it on your plants, right? It grows things. So I take all of the things that are not serving me, I put them into the earth, Mother Earth, and then I see them go in. So this is my feet right here. I see them, and here's earth. I see it go into the earth and it sprouts flowers. That's how I see it. It turns my things that don't serve me into serving the environment and it sprouts flowers. Then I imagine Mother Earth, from the core of Mother Earth, her loving energy coming up through my chakras, starting from my root, okay, which is our perineum area, coming up, and think about like a pole going through your body, like ballet dancers. I was a ballet dancer and we dance like there's a pole going through our body and coming up through all of my chakras and then blowing through my crown chakra into infinity. And then I imagine the light of God coming down, meeting that, the two of these lights going here into my heart. And then my heart spreads out, that both of these energies spread out like that. They go, wha, like a circle, kind of like, you see Saturn circles or whatever, shoot out into infinity. And I watch that light go as long as it can, as long as I can. Just infinity, 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 infinity. That's connecting to the quantum field. These are practices that I do all the time. So don't be afraid to practice make something up. What sounds good to you? You don't have to sit cross-legged on a meditation pillow going Om. You can. In fact, I have, oh no, it's up here in my basket, but I have practices, chants that I do from Kundalini Yoga. And I put them on my wall so that when I can sit on my floor and I will chant them. And it's about vibration. You have to chant them from a certain vibration. And I do those. There's all kinds of things that you can do. So the purpose of this live stream today is to really put you in the power seat of your life and to erase the false belief that you can't meditate. Oh, another huge one. Love this. And I love this because Dr. Joe talked about this. Strangely, a lot of my healing work happened in the car when I was driving alone. Okay. It's how I retrained my brain from this in January of 2011. I knew that I had just all of these horrible thoughts regarding men and relationships. And they're really about me. Okay. I wasn't enough. No one would ever want me, blah, blah, blah. I went through the list. And I started to, as I was driving, I would take, if one thought came in, well, put it this way. I noticed, first of all, my body, my heart would start pounding and I'd get really nervous. I go, okay, Kristen, what are you thinking? And I would say, you're thinking that no man will ever want you, that you're broken, you're tainted, you're ruined, you're whatever. And I took that thought and I brought it into my focus and I said, is this true? And I questioned it. Can I absolutely know this is true? And I was like, no, that's not true. Come on. 8 billion people on the planet. No one will ever want you. And then I turned it around to a positive, more true thought. And then I let it go. And then the next thought would come and I'd do the same thing. And I did this repeatedly. Within, by the way, this was the cause of the majority of the cause of all this. Majority, it was a large part of the cause of all of that anxiety that I had spoken about earlier on this stream, although other things too. Within 2 days, I kid you not, this is no exaggeration. I actually time marked it in my head because I was blown away. Within 48 hours, the anxiety was completely gone. Gone. Didn't come back. Gone. And within 2 weeks, that particular train of thought stopped happening. This is prior to knowing the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza. I had literally retrained my brain, which is what he talks about all the time. It was gone. I knew that all those thoughts were not true, and I had retrained my brain to think in a different way. The point I'm trying to make, though, is that this happened in the car. And I was like, why do a lot of times these things happen in the car or while I'm in the shower? And then on a live talk one day, Dr. Joe Dispenza said, many times driving gets us out of high beta. I'm going like high beta. Okay. High beta is that solving, stressful thinking, problem-solving space in our what do you call it? Our brainwave frequency. It gets us out of high beta and it moves us into alpha. And alpha is like an early top state of meditation. When we're in alpha, and even going, well, you can't really, I don't think you get to theta while you're driving. Maybe you can. I'm not that well versed on the brainwave states, but in this state, your creative mind opens. Okay. We're open to receiving. All right. And when we're open to receiving, that's when we can change things. And I was like, that's why. Because when I'm functioning in my house or in my work or doing all these things that I'm doing to move the chess pieces of my life, I was in too much of my thinking and type brain. But when I moved, when I was driving, my brainwave state would go down because I'm focused somewhere else. I have intentioned focus. And in that intention focus of the roads and the car and the streetlights and the this and the that, and getting to where I'm going and making the right turns. I'm a very careful driver. I'm a very careful driver. That happened as soon as I had kids. I was like, oh my God, I've got the most precious cargo ever. And then I became precious cargo because I was their mother, right? So I'm an extremely careful driver and I pay very close attention. But that got me into a brainwave state where I could actually start working on things, plus the fact that I was alone. Okay. So this is real. I'm just going to go down a quick list for you guys just to close this up about what, and I wrote these down because I knew I wouldn't remember them all. What meditation actually does, the healing effects of meditation. It can reduce our stress. Amen. As you know, I talked about it at length. It can actually help lower the production of stress hormones like cortisol, which leads us to a more relaxed and calm state. Also, when we lower stress hormones like cortisol, we can lose weight. Cortisol is one of the main reasons why people put on weight, not one of the main, one of the possible reasons why people put on weight and can't move it is because they have high levels of cortisol. Okay. Improve focus and concentration. This means we train the mind to stay present. Um, I've gotten so good at being present these days, y'all, that my family gets mad at me. They think I'm not listening. But if I'm focused on something, and I mean focused, whatever it might be, it could be responding back to a friend, it could be sending a text, it could be a text that matters, not like be there at 5. Someone maybe asked me a question. I really want to get the words right or whatever. I'm just super focused on something and they'll talk to me. I don't even hear them. I mean, my auditorially, I might hear them kind of, but I definitely am not connecting to what they say. And then I've heard them say, listen to me, you're ignoring me. I said, we're a normal family, y'all. And I'm like, no, honestly, I sort of heard something going on over here, but I didn't. And they could be sitting right there in front of me. So when I say it improved your focus and concentration, brah, I got that. It also can enhance cognitive functions such as attention. Well, I just said that. Okay, never mind. Enhanced emotional well-being. Okay, this is greater emotional stability and resilience. Holy moly. I had been in this meditation practice for 2 solid years when my daughter, my eldest, she was 18 at the time, she just turned 29, wound up in the hospital on her deathbed. She was almost going to die. The doctors didn't know what was wrong with her. And I remember sitting there and I'm like mama bear central. I'm like fierce about my kids, so much so that, they're just my absolute priority. I won't get on into all the details. It's kind of a digress situation. But anyway, here I was sitting in this hospital room with her and I was so calm. I was so calm. No drugs, no drinking, no nothing. Meditation. I was so calm that I heard spirit or felt that she wasn't going to die. I knew it. I knew it that she wasn't going to die. And so much so that the doctors are coming to me crying in the hallway going, we're doing everything we can for her. We're so sorry. I got a child this age too. This is freaking me out. And I remember looking at my doctor. He was almost my height. He wasn't a very tall guy. And I remember looking at him and going, you're doing everything you can. Everything's going to be okay. She's not going to die. I knew it with every fiber of my being. Guess what? She didn't die. She just turned 29. Okay. So it can actually it can give us emotional stability. Not only that, I just made a video that is going to be posted tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday, and I talk about dealing with the aftermath of emotional slash narcissistic abuse. All right. I talk all about this. This is what I talk about. I talk about getting yourself calm, retraining your nervous system, dealing with your nervous system first. So you can actually recover from the relationship with them because we're stuck in a state. But not only that, so that if you're dealing with someone like that currently in your life, then you have emotional stability. You're not just jumping to what they're saying when they're saying their crazy stuff, their gaslighting and their lack of ownership and raising their voice or calling you names, whatever you're doing. Because when we can stay in that state, again, to the observance, we just start to become observers. I've just observed those type of people in my life going, wow. And without judgment, just like, okay, there they are. There they are showing their wounds and their fear. Okay. Has nothing to do with me. I don't have to fight for anything. This is all about them. Okay. So emotional stability, better awareness. One of my favorite things of all time is self-awareness is key. If you listen to my podcast, the Sweet Empowerment podcast, not the ones that I have posted here on YouTube, those are just recent ones. But if you listen to my actual podcast on Spotify and iTunes and all those things, Google, whatever, I don't know, all the places. It's everywhere. If you listen to that podcast, you will hear me say in almost every episode that awareness is key. Awareness is key. Awareness is key. And this is what meditation helps you do. It helps you become super aware of yourself. Self-healers, y'all. We're self-healers. We need to be aware of ourselves because we're the person that's going to heal ourselves. Yes, we might take information from the outside world like I'm giving you right now, but if you don't apply it to yourself, then you're not going to heal. Okay? Someone can give you medicine. If you don't take it, you're not going to heal. See what I'm saying? People can give us what we need, but if we don't apply it, we're not going to heal. We're self-healers. So meditation gives us this most profound awareness of ourselves. Like I got so clear about all these things that were in my subconscious, and I was able to bring them up to the light for healing. And they were down here when I was too busy out here in life trying to make it happen. However, way I couldn't be in that space. So it will bring a greater awareness, which goes to personal growth, which is how we heal. And you will get so rooted in yourself because you will really know who you are and you will be more apt to advocate for yourself because you will be aware of the sensations that come into your body when things aren't okay. A lot of times we're on this autopilot thing, this autopilot nervous system, and stuff comes into our awareness that I'm going to burp, excuse me, that we're just kind of used to. Okay. It's kind of our status quo. It doesn't stand out as different. Once you start to meditate and you treat yourself and love yourself and get yourself into this calm state, the minute someone comes at you, it's going to stand out like a beacon. Okay. When we're inside beating ourselves up and we end up with a partner that's beating us up, there's a part of us that's a little bit, I don't know the right word. I'm going to say resilient, but that's not the word I want to use. Kind of used to it. We've kind of built up some armor around it because we've been beating ourselves up for years. So someone else comes in and does the same thing. We may not like it. Cognitively, it hurts or we don't like it. But yeah, it doesn't really stand out. We start to care for ourselves in the most magnificent way ever through self-love, through the self-love practices. When other people come in and they start doing that stuff to us, it's like, excuse me? Okay. I didn't used to have that, excuse me. I would like, why are you doing that? And I try to fight with the person about it. Now it's like a slam dunk, hell no. People don't get to do that to me anymore because I'm very aware. I take care of little Kristen. Remember what I said? You have to take care of yourself the way you would a small child. You have to tend to everything about you. And another magical thing that happens is that you stop looking for the world to do it. You stop looking for that love, approval, and acceptance and validation out there. Okay, I don't do that anymore. It's very, very rare that I will ask somebody something because I need that validation. Like the other day, my daughter started reading my book. I said, "How do you like it?" She goes, "It's really good, Mom." I was like, "Okay." It was here nor there. It wasn't like, okay, I need her to like my book. My book is doing great in the world. People love my book. But it was sitting on her. I was at her house and it was sitting on the arm of her couch. And I was like, "Oh, how do you like it?" type thing. but it wasn't combined with secretly wanting her to tell me how great I was or how great the book is. You see what I'm saying? So the only love, approval, and acceptance and validation is missing from your life is your own. Timestamp that right here. All fonts, all capital fonts. Okay. The next thing is increased creativity. I already went into this, but that is basically we are opening up the energy centers in our brain. We are creating space for the quantum field, God, source, universe, whatever you want to call it, to deliver information to you. Absolutely, hands down. Improve sleep quality. We talked about that. Um, we can combat insomnia by learning to meditate. I have a client right now who struggles with insomnia and waking up a lot throughout the night. And this is what we're working on right now. And I'm giving her all kinds of tools and techniques so that she can start working on this. Because again, sleep is the best meditation, like Mojo pointed out. And like I've heard that quote too. You say Dalai Lama, I heard it from Buddha. So I'm not sure which one it's from. Lowers blood pressure. Hello. Okay. It can contribute to overall cardiovascular health. Who doesn't want cardiovascular health? I do. Okay. Pain management. Now, this was interesting. Okay. Pain management. It is a way it changes the way the brain perceives pain signals. Wow. Pretty cool, huh? But I've done that. I've actually done meditations when I was in pain where I actually focused on that place and I said, this is gone. I'm done with this pain. This is gone. And it greatly decreased. In fact, my husband did that the other day, focusing on his ringing in his ears. And he focused on the ringing in the ears going away. And he goes, and it went away. And I said, keep at that. That's what Dr. Joe talks about, where we can heal ourselves. When we start to get that feeling that's working, we have to return back to it and return back to it and return back to it till eventually it stays longer, 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 and the thing goes away. Okay, increased compassion and empathy. How cool is this? The meditation gets us so calm that it cultivates empathy towards ourselves and to other people. And anything that we're giving ourselves, we tend to give to other people. And this, of course, leads to more harmonious relationships. And I want to embellish on that for just a minute because, like I was explaining just a little bit ago, you got someone coming at you, and I'm the mama. I got people coming at me, okay? I got people coming at me, not so much anymore. Everybody's growing and I teach this stuff. So I've taught my kids and we're all this beautiful growing organism, my family. It's absolutely beautiful. But people will come at me whatever reason. When I'm in the practice of meditation and I have a calm nervous system, it just doesn't affect me. When I'm not, I'm like, "Oh my God, this again." And I could feel myself getting that way. And I'm like, that's my indicator because become so self-aware. I'm like, wow, I'm really being affected by this. This means I haven't been tending to me. Okay. And when we are calmer, then this person that's feeling some sort of way, they tend to join our energy with us because it calms them down. Now, if we're adding to their stuff, it's going to do this, right? It's going to be more chaos, and which is going to heighten the nervous system even more. So this is how it can contribute to harmonious relationships. Enhanced decision making. Okay, that's everything that I've been talking about. A clearer and calmer mind leads to great decision making and judgments because it reduces impulses and reactions, which is what I was just talking about. Okay, so all these things together. This is a cumulative effect that this can happen over time when you dedicate yourself to a practice of meditation. Only good comes from meditation. And as a disclaimer, this does not replace any medical advice or treatment that you may receive for specific health conditions. That's my medical disclaimer here. You are your own authority. You take the best, you leave the rest. And if you're having certain medical conditions, you go and speak to your healthcare provider and make a decision that is right and true and best for you. All right, I'm going to read through. You wouldn't advise theta and driving. That's true, D. Thank you. Let me just see. I'm losing where I was at. Unplug, recharge. Great perspective on dealing with problems. Mojo's on point. Angels, ancestors, guides, and guardians. Um, meditation, play, pretend, laugh, ask, yield. Love that. Download, happen in shower, driving, doing dishes, etc. Because we're not distracted. Yes. The deluge. I love the word deluge. The deluge of inputs. Not advisable to be in theta. It's true. It's why big meditators, including Dr. Joe, to not be driving or operating machinery when doing the meditation. Well, not his kind, but yeah, the kind that I was doing is okay because I just lowered. Driving itself is meditative, is what I'm saying. Not do a meditation while you're driving. I did not say that. Driving itself can lower our brainwave state into the alpha. Okay. Inspiration without implementation is delusion. Robin Sharma, love Robin Sharma. Helps eliminate hurry and worry. Yep. And neuroscience has shown the meditation actually physically rewires our brain synapses. Absolutely. I think that's the end. That's all that it's showing me. So I thank you guys for being here. My soul brothers here, D. Grant Smith, Mojo McCarthy. I am going to say that we are doing another Modern Day Alchemist live, which is really fun on this Friday. What's the date this Friday? 21st at 1 p.m. Pacific time, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 4 p.m. Eastern time. I have to do it that way, you all. I just basically learned about the time changes because I'm in Arizona. The time never changes. When I was dealing with things just had to do with Arizona, it didn't matter. But once I became a coach out in the world and stuff, I had to go like, oh yeah, what's the time change? And guess what? Arizona never changes, but sometimes we're the same as Pacific, and sometimes we're the same or Pacific, and sometimes we're the same as Mountain. We're always Mountain Standard, but they change with daylight. Anyway, okay. We are doing, okay, here we go. Mojo says it right here. Friday at 1 p.m. Pacific, Modern Day Alchemist live on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, where you will see the three of us go in depth. We are going to be talking about leadership, right? And leadership is not just about follow the leader. There's a lot of nuances at play when it comes to leadership, a lot of great so much great information. So I really hope that you guys can join us there on that, whether you're watching me live now or you are going to watch this on the replay. And we're doing this every Friday through the summer, I believe, right, Mojo? This is just through the summer. I believe that's what we're going to do. If he's still here, there's a little lag time when I speak and the people actually comment. But hopefully Mojo will hear that and comment below. So also I invite you guys to follow my dear brothers, Joseph Mojo McCarthy here. You can click on his name and D. Grant Smith. They both have their own YouTube channels that they are growing. Okay. So, but do not be at all in any sort of judgmental way about the number of followers because these boys pack a powerful punch. They're just now really getting started on YouTube, and same way I did and any other people that have 1 million followers do. And these are two gentlemen that I met on the Wisdom app, and we became fast friends, and we speak a very similar language. And we actually we're buddies, and we have a group chat, and we help each other through life. And I'm so incredibly grateful for them. So when you watch us on a live, this is just not three people around America that are getting together BSing. This is a love ship. Okay. This is a friendship. This is a union that you're seeing happening that actually happens behind the scenes as well. Thank you for sharing your light, love, and wisdom. And Mojo, did you hear me say is this just through the summer, the Modern Day Alchemists? I think it is, you guys. I think he said through July. I'm not sure. So anyway, thanks so much for being here, everybody. Much love to each and every one of you. I love you so much. And we're all doing this thing together. Please remember that. But as I always close my broadcasts with, remember, you matter. You matter. Now go love yourself. Bye, everybody. To be determined. Okay. Peace.